Happy Tuesday, everybody. Holly Wetzel there. I'm Andy Billman here. If you can't tell from my voice, that is the sound of cold medicine being popped in my mouth, like Tic Tacs today. It's really sad.
I never know how you're gonna lead off the show. You always get something a little special, and today it's
A little spicy.
that.
Well, it's been a spicy day, so I thought we'd spice it up. All right, let's get right to the wound here. Holly and I are big Indians fans, huge Indians fans, and we love this team. We love the city. And what's going on with our team, the Tribe, right now is very, very hard. I know it's very, very hard for me, and I know don't want to speak probably, but I'm sure it's hard for her too. And what's going on is just out of control now. And I think it's something that came out today in The Athletic where you really saw things that you never think you would see 5 years ago. They're seeing displayed here, and the stories that are going on, and what and how it's being reported that the Indians may have known things, and what things were not known, and what came out. And it looks like today from this report, it looks like there's a lot of knowledge within the organization. And the one thing I just want to speak about today is there's going to be some very, very hard times here for this club. I love this club. I really do. I've met some of the people internally. The Indians are very good people inside. The thing I'll say, though, about these stories, though, is there's some things here that needs to be really discussed. And I think it's actually a good way that they're being discussed publicly, because it's going to make the team and make everything else better. I've worked in sports for a long time. There's been a lot of things I've seen, that have been great, some things I have not seen that are so great. And sadly, I think this is a league, not just, it happens in a lot of sports. I'll even go as far as soccer, basketball, football, pick a sport. It's cultural. It's gotten better, but there's a long ways to go. And I'd even go as far as to say, it goes across businesses, high culture, low culture. It's everywhere. It needs to be cleaned up. It's not fair. It's certainly not fair to someone like Holly Wetzel and many other young ladies who come up through the business who are trying to just do their job. And this is a start, and it's going to be a lot of hard times. It's going to be a lot of down times. I will say, though, I think this is for the better. I think it's good that these articles are coming out. I think it's good that these things are being discussed. I even though it's hard and we love some of these people, I love Francona. It's hard seeing him today go through that. I felt for him even a little bit, even though I know he's done some stuff that hasn't been perfect. But what happened today with him and his son, I really felt for him. And I've interviewed Nick, and I feel for both sides here. But I really feel for Nick and Terry, but not because I pick a side, but because I feel for people. And I know there's a lot of people going through pain. And on top of it, there's a lot of women who've gone through a lot of unnecessary and very bad things. And that's why these stories are being told. And Holly, they need to be told. And they need to be told on this kind of level.
They do. Yeah. I don't think that it's any secret. I think many women, no matter what their age, have experienced a lot of different types of inappropriate behavior, sexual harassment, by men in a lot of different professions. I, for sure, working in sports, have dealt with that. And I think the common theme with a lot of this that has been going on, that is obviously starting to change, is that it doesn't matter, and that's right. Just what happens. And it's just, we get used to it. I mean, if you read that article in The Athletic, it goes through about how women, when they started working at the organization, allegedly that they were told, watch out for Mickey Callaway. Yeah. Like it's part of the onboarding process. Right. You can't have that. And the problem with that is that it's just continued to be swept under the rug. And I think a big part of that is, I don't think men realize a couple things. One, men in power have, and when you're in a powerful position like that, you do feel like that you can take command and you can control a situation. And I think a part of what Nick Francona went through in his letter was that my dad just doesn't get it. And I think that's not, I don't think Terry's the only one in this whole thing. I think that age group and that time, that it's just, they don't get it. They don't understand. Mm-hmm. You can't exercise your power in those positions to get what you want, especially over a woman. You can't do that. And I think that's the biggest piece in all this, is that men in power think that they can run and control the situations. And I think another part of this is that, one thing I think men may not ever really totally understand is it can be an appropriate thing even when a woman feels it. It could be something that you might send me a message, Andy, and it could be something, or you and I could be talking in the hallway somewhere, and it could be the way that you're looking at me. It could be the way that you are speaking to me, your tone of voice. It could be maybe a playful touch here and there, because boy, I can't even tell you how many times I've been playfully touched in my life. And the point of all that is too, and I growing up in this business, that's just what happens. And especially in sports, that narrative takes over because it's sports, and you certainly don't say anything, because why would you want to screw anything up? I mean, I think in that article, it was, I can't lose my pitching coach. I mean, that can't be the mentality, and that has to start at the top. The change has to start at the top. And I think I know I'm kind of going all over the place, but I think
you're not. You're doing good.
I want to go back to how women feel, because that can be enough. And that's really hard to explain to someone, especially a man that doesn't understand that, because I can say, hey, this person makes me uncomfortable. Well, what'd they do? Well, they made me feel uncomfortable by the way that what they look at me and talk to me. That's a hard sell. So a lot of women probably are, and I know I'm one of them in that sense of many things that have happened in my career, in my life, to say that, because it's sometimes not enough, because you don't feel like it's enough, because you don't have exact proof that this person made you uncomfortable. And again, it usually comes from a man in power. They don't want to lose their job. They don't want to upset, the higher up or part of that organization. I mean, there's so many different things. They don't want to be viewed as that person. And then you also start to second guess yourself a lot of, did I do something to make this person think that was okay to do that? It starts to really, you kind of start to spiral. So I think with all of this, like I said, this opens up across all different professions, like you said, especially in sports, but across the board in a bunch of different sports. And, this is just another moment. And I think that if we need to open the door wide open here, so we get all of that baggage out, then that's what we need to do. Because if the Indians right now should be focused on one thing, and that is making sure that this stops, and they do everything they can to find out what happened, who's the cause of it, who let it continue.
Yep.
And be done. Because at the end of the day, I get fired for a whole lot less in my job.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Like, it's not okay. And just because it's professional sports, that does not mean that it's okay. So
there's a lot here that needs to be sorted out. There's a lot of healing, a lot of recorrecting, and and I agree with Holly. I think this is painful because I love this team. And there's some people on there that are really, that don't have anything to do with the scandal. They're people that people won't even know. They're behind the scenes. They're very, very nice people. And it sucks because this has to happen this way. And I agree with Holly. Like, there's a lot of things throughout this organization that I think it was going to have to happen. I just will tell you this, for someone who's been at ESPN for 16 years, who's seen stuff even away from ESPN, seen stuff in life. Sadly, these moments just have to happen. And for how much we might love and respect these things, there needs to be a lot of cleanup, and it's going to be good, healthy cleanup and good, healthy cleaning, because there are some things here that just can't happen anymore. It should never happen, frankly.
And it shouldn't have. And that's it starts at the top. And when you start to sweep stuff under the rug, that's what's going to continue. You're setting that culture. You're setting those expectations that's just what we do as women. We just suck it up.
That's right. And by the way, there is a big part of it. I'm gonna get to some comments by Matthew Bruning. Matt, good to see you, brother. Do you see sweeping changes inside the organization? I do. Any kind of changes like this, there may not be changes that we will see. There may be big changes that we will see. I don't know. Holly and I were talking about that off air. It's hard to tell. I will say this though: we have, in these kind of stories, it is now. They usually bolder. And it usually gets worse before it gets better.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't think that this is the end.
I don't think so either.
This is the beginning.
I don't think so either. Howdy, Damon. Good to see you on Facebook. Another one from Matt. I truly hope we can get to the day that this crap doesn't happen anymore. Matt, I do too. And that's why these kind of articles are important, because you have to get to a point where you have to talk about this. And articles like this are really needed to create forums to discuss like what is really going on. And the thing is, all will move on, and there will be changes, no doubt. And in fact, to tell you how serious this is, the Indians aren't doing the Indians are not doing the investigation MLB is, because they want a big scope of what the hell's been happening here. And I'm sure we'll learn more about it. I would not be surprised there's more articles that come out. And I think those are the kind of things that, like, again, they just boulder. And I think us as Indians fans have to remind ourselves, even for things that we remember and hold in our hearts as fans, these things are all going to be for the better, because they're going to make everyone better inside that building, even though it's really painful. And there's going to be some times where it's going to be very uncomfortable. But a lot of uncomfortable things have happened. Not, I'd say in the last, what would you say, Holly? 5-10 years? There's been quite a bit of stuff. It's been building. It
takes time. Like we talk, I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. Like, this is the first, and when you continue to get away with it, you just keep doing it. Why would you want to blow up your own organization, right? And make up a thing? There is obviously many credible reports coming out that the Indians knew what was going on here, and they didn't take the initiative to stop it. And everyone, regardless of your gender, should be able to go to work and feel comfortable enough and safe to do your job, and have it not depend on how you look, how you dress, or anything like that. And everyone should feel comfortable enough to have conversations with their coworkers, not feel that if they say something, they could possibly lose their job. And look, I know you're a big Mad Men fan, and I love
huge.
Huge. That watching that show over and over again in that time frame. I mean, it was that was the way. Women just had to deal with it. And obviously, we've come such a long way since then. But that type of mentality, and those men that are now older, still kind of have that mentality, and that's why it's still around. So until we start to move in, and especially in sports, because that's just how it's been, and it can't be like that anymore.
The one line I took out of that article that I found was very bad, and there's a lot of bad, but one was very bad, is "Where's the beef?" That's what he would say. That's bad. That was not said in 1960s baseball. That was said in 2010, 11, 12.
No.
Pretty fucking bad.
Yeah. And
that's
look,
pretty fucking bad.
Andy, if we wanted to talk about the transgressions that happen with professional athletes and coaches and stuff, and them cheating consensually, that's all we talk about.
Oh, because, I mean, look.
You know what I mean? But when it comes into affecting someone that you work with like this, and again, using that power over, and it just being like, well, that's Mickey. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
That's a problem, and that culture's been set. So yeah, when they are starting to, when you do have I would be so scared for young women starting there.
Yeah.
Knowing that that's going to be part of something that they're just going to have to understand too.
Yeah, there's a lot in here that's becoming accepted culture, and that's a term I use a lot, and that is bad. There's a lot of cleanup needs to be done, and I'll tell you the truth too. These conversations were going to happen. They never did, so they came out publicly, and that's why they're being done.
Well, great point, because when there's complaints and you continue to ignore them and brush them off and think that you can get away with it because I'll have Tito call you, that's how you're going to solve a problem. And the reality of it is that, you know why they did that? Because it's probably been done before and it worked.
The worst thing that happened was Mickey going to New York and what he did with the Mets, because it's pretty clear and evident from what happened. It probably accelerated in New York. And that story that happened in New York, where he basically got upset because that female reporter who he's trying to, definitely trying to sexual oppress her. I don't know what the proper term is, but he was trying to sexual harass in some way. And he got upset because she wasn't writing a flattering article. Man, that's as bad as it fucking gets.
Yeah.
He's intimidating her. It wasn't just intimidating her to get on a date with her or whatever else. He's intimidating her to help him with his job.
No,
that's as bad as
that abuse of power.
Yeah.
And you see it just in so many different ways, shapes, forms.
Yeah.
And he's gotten away with it. And that's
Not
why
anymore.
we need to do it. And shame on the Indians if they didn't make it clear. If at the least they could have, at the very least, when he went to New York, stood up and said, listen, we had to put up with this dude's shit for years, clean up after all his messes, right? And it's baseball, I think, too, has this idealistic type of America's, favorite. What is the term? America's favorite
pastime.
Right?
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure I said it right. Just that idyllic imagery of just going and watching a game and these baseball players, and they're just these down home.
It's an affordable ticket. It's something it's a game you can feel closest to the players, in my opinion. It really do. There's helmets, but there's hats. You can see their faces. It's not fast moving like basketball.
Right.
So you can really sit and study and watch with it's one sport you can really interact with an outfielder during the game. It's just, it's a great.
They are outdated. We talk about it all the time that they need to speed up the games and they need to figure out a way to re-engage fans, and it's boring and it's this and that. I mean, there's a reason why all of that exists too, because that's just the culture that's kind of surrounded baseball. Yeah. And when you get that, that's what's going to be produced. And I'm with you. There are a lot of really great people that work over there that I know that are probably in a certain position where they're between a rock and a hard place here. And maybe some of them didn't know. And now they're going to have to figure that out. But and that's what's really hard with all this. But if the Indians want to really move forward, I mean, if this is the time, you're getting a new team, name, logo, all that stuff. You're going to be cleaning house with all of this shit that's come up. I mean, I'm shocked, I will say too, that the direct quotes from like Antonetti and stuff that said like, this is the first I've heard of it. And I
know.
Did you really think that people were going to believe that you'd think that there was going to be other stories that came out that followed that?
Well, I mean, it's just, look, his statement aside, the Mets filed a report saying that they had to talk to the Indians about what happened to Mickey Callaway and that wife. I mean, that's just, there's nothing. You can do press quotes all you want. That's a report. That's in an email. It's right there. So, I mean, there's just, the Indians, look, there's some people who I do feel like should give a second or third chance. There are some people I don't. And I won't go into who that is right now. But there is a toilet flush coming. And it's going to be a good toilet flush. And it's going to be hard. And it's going to be painful. But it needs to happen because people like Holly, yes, I agree, Joe. We'll talk about the Cavs in a second. People like Holly, many other people, Mandy Bell, we have on these channels sometimes, need to feel good about being a part of this organization and team. We all love the Indians. We all do. This is going to be the better for the city, better for the team, better for everyone. It is. It's going to be hard, but it's okay. Mm-hmm. It's going to be okay because this is the right thing to do. And it
well, you have to. And it's like, what's the punishment, right? Yeah, everyone loses their job. What happens? Look, we're in a situation now in our culture where it's in our society. It's like, you say one thing, everyone is so on the heightened alert to just ruin people's lives and careers off of mistakes. And I think with this, it's about educating people on why this is not okay. And sure, is it for some people it could be very life altering and it could be very affecting them. And I don't think that they have to be educated. They have to understand why and what they need, the proper training. And if that's when you're hiring someone or it's an onboard part of the onboarding process of these examples, sexual harassment training yearly. I mean, there's so many different things that you could be doing to put proper protocols in place and it's a no excuse, one and done, fire, you're out. You have those type of things. And that has to be across the board from management, ownership, to players, to the janitor.
Back office, front office, everything.
All of it.
And by the way, I would do it now. I would be doing it today, tomorrow, in between innings, HR training, whatever it takes.
Would have got on this, when the Mickey reports first came out.
Yeah. I don't know if it has. I don't know what's been going on.
But they certainly didn't. I mean, they certainly played
Well,
I have no idea.
Well, I've seen this before. I've been a part of things like this where I've been integrated, but I've been around it. It's how all things work out, and the Indians are definitely in it now. Again, I just want to be realistic. I think it's going to be painful. I think it's going to be very hard next 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh,
I think these days are going to crawl. I think these hours are going to crawl. You could see it on Francona's face. That guy usually can handle much, and I again, he is very likable. He looked pale and tired and beat up.
Yeah.
He looked really, really down. Like he really, really looked down today. And, again, the one topic I do want to go to quickly, but I thought what Nick said today and what's going on with Nick and Terry from my perspective, being from father, I just feel for both camps.
Yep.
And honestly, knowing Francona, Nick is just trying to do what he thinks is best. And for Terry, if I were dad and that happened to me and my son, my jaw would have hit the floor and I would have been devastated. Devastated.
Yeah.
I would have been
play that out for it to play out like that.
Yeah, I mean, we aren't privy to those conversations, so I don't know. But I just, coming as from a dad, my jaw would have hit the ground. I would have been really, really upset.
Mm-hmm.
I would actually probably been crying, weeping, crying.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just it's hard times. So that is the Indians. I agree with Holly. I think there's more to come. I think this is an important topic. I love staying in sports. I know Holly does too, but I think we need to talk about this. I think this is important stuff. This is not just going to be, and by the way, there'll be more of this coming out with other teams and other organizations, other businesses. And there's been a lot of businesses in the past 2 or 3 years that have been going through this too. So it's not just sports, it's everywhere. But these conversations are important because they need to happen. And my hint to everybody, if you are hiding stuff like this, or you think you're hiding stuff wherever you work, maybe you're in college or a frat or whatever, I'm telling you, this shit comes out. Speak up and help quickly.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Annie, to end on with this, is that encourage, if there is someone that you work with, that you're friends with, that you encourage them to speak up and go forward with it, because I can only imagine what they might be feeling of what they may think of the shame. What did I bring this on?
You did nothing wrong.
Exactly. You did nothing wrong. And that's so important. And I think so. Yeah. If you are witnessing something, if you see something, say it. Because you have nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose. You have only things to gain.
Yes. Really much so. Good news, Joe. The Cavs won 4 in a row. We'll get to him in a second. Good to have you, Joe, in the room, by the way. I love you, Joe. They won 4 in a row, though. Damien, when you get to it, not to run off topic, we're ready to transition. Damien, good to have you in the room tonight. How about these young prospects in spring training? Naylor had a good day today. I saw good things from Bobby Bradley the other day. Jimenez with a triple. I was telling Holly about it earlier. Big triple in the game. I will say that.
Let's lead off with the Indians, and that was
I will say this, though, Damien. I love talking Tribe, and I'll talk Tribe all spring, all summer. Today's the day it should be off the field. We'll get to on the field Tribe. There's a lot that's going on, but I will just say this now. And I was already confident about it, but now I'm very confident. In a good, healthy way, there's a lot of transitioning happening for the Indians. A lot of transitioning happening. There's you want to talk about a transition here, they're definitely in it. I think some of it's good. To be honest with you. I think the positives are, too, for on the field. I like that Jose Ramirez has become the leader of this team. I like that a lot. I like that Shane Bieber's trying to get effective pitches outside of curveball. I like that a lot. I'm with you, Damien. I'm excited about Naylor. I'm excited about this guy, Rosario. I like Eddie Rosario. The Rosario, they're not brothers, but we'll probably start calling them Rosario brothers. All that to be said, though, today's about off the field. And it's going to be interesting days to come with the Tribe, and we'll have to keep an eye on it. Now, I'll transition hard into, do you want to do Cavs or Browns? Which one are you going to do, Halls? Cavs or Browns?
Let's do Browns.
Okay. Have you did you burn any JJ Watt t-shirts? Did you buy anything? Did you buy any JJ Watt jerseys? Did you happen to buy anything?
No, but one of my favorite things about the whole JJ Watt stuff was the Peloton, like the bio of his 3 top teams. It's like, first of all, The fact that someone found that is fascinating.
It's pretty funny.
Second of all, is that people believed it, and like third of all, they were critiquing like his like workouts. And it like, clearly wasn't him, but it's so funny. And so I guess apparently like a lot of like LeBron and like a lot of athletes have Peloton keep their stuff private because they don't want people seeing like how they're performing. But anyway, I just thought that was so funny because of all things Peloton. It's like the way that we fucking break news anymore is just wild. But look, I wanted him. I think it would have been great. But I've said this a couple different times. I'd rather have someone young and spry and ready to roll, but and if we could afford it, did you see that report, by the way, that came out, which was Mary Kay Cabot ended up saying that it wasn't true, that we offered more money than the Cardinals. Did you see that? There was a radio show host in Arizona that said that the Browns offered more money than the Cardinals. But then Mary Kay came out and like diffused it and was like, no, that's not true. It's like, no, we didn't.
I don't know about that. By the way, I just want to say something before we get back to the Browns. If anybody out there is a gazelle runner like me, you just come on. You share your stats. Don't get intimidated by this Peloton Holly world.
Next time Andy goes to like announce a new career change, he's going to go in his Gazelle app.
You better fucking believe it
and announce it.
I'll be there. See, I got you so excited about the gazelle. You knocked over your microphone. Don't tease the gazelle. You'll get it.
My hands are just like, Holly.
See? Oh, that was a good catch. But I thought I was going to drop on the ground, but it was nice. You caught it nicely. Damien, I think how much he wanted was too much. Here's what I'll say about JJ Watts. I've heard a lot of people say that. I thought it was fair. Here's what I don't think, though. I think Arizona gave him the better deal. What I mean by that is like there's money and then there's a deal. Arizona's going to guarantee him $23 million. Do I think the Browns did that? I don't. Maybe the Browns only guaranteed 16 or 17, but to get $23 million guaranteed for his age is a fantastic contract. You take and you run. Here's why I take out all this, which I think is very weird, which I did not know, but now I know. And I'm actually more excited that he's in Arizona, not in Cleveland. I did not realize how much JJ is about JJ. And I'm not saying it's bad or good, but I thought his tweet announcing it was weird. I thought him on the private jet was weird. It's not my vibe. It's like, oh, cool, look at me. I'm going to run.
People are like building him up, wouldn't you say? Like, I felt like it was like a LeBron-ish 2.0. Where's JJ going to go? We were searching his Peloton and everything else to find out, reading into his snowshoe print, reading into his, the picture of his dog and the TV and so I'm sure that stuff starts to add up and build in your head. So he went where, look, money talks. We know that. It makes sense. I mean, and if he doesn't want to be here, then we don't want him here, and then it's not the right fit. I mean, for the first time, we can say, Andy, we trust our front office, which is just fantastic.
Oh, by the way, we do. I will say this, too, in fairness. I have nothing against J.J. Watt. Who cares? It just felt a little Abercrombie and Finch to me. A little fancy. A little fifi.
Do you consider Abercrombie and Fitch fancy?
Well, I'm a 90s kid. So, yeah, I do. But, too much hair gel for this young man.
I loved going in those stores, by the way, and looking at the models at Christmas. They'd have in-person models.
Yes, I remember that. There's a great.
The men, by the way. I like looking at the men.
Well, of course. Well, I was looking at the women because they had women models, too. And it was funny. That was like a high school mall hangout. And of course, we go to groups, and the girls would go one way. Well, of course they would, but the boys would go one way.
And they would just walk around. The employees would just walk around and spritz.
Yes. Yes, they would. They sell bars of soap. Remember those people? Bars of soap for $20 a bar.
But I will say, Abercrombie now is making this brand new re-entrance into the world of clothing for people that are not size -30.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Abercrombie French memories, everybody. Emily Quartz, I believe, friend of the show. How much do you think DeAndre had to do with it? I think that played a part of it. I think the bigger part of it here is, Emily, and I'm not trying to tease it, there's a Cliff Kingsbury lifestyle. I mean, he definitely gives that chic. I think there's a chicness. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but private airplanes and, blah, blah, blah. Oh, Emily Quartz, Abercrombie and French alumni member. Bob Evans alumni member here. Not as impressive. as Abercrombie French.
Oh,
Yeah,
I worked at Bob Evans.
I did too.
Did you
really?
I worked there for 3 days.
I
hated it.
I was a busser, host, waiter, cook. And at the very end, right before I went to Toledo, they go, "Oh, we're going to offer you a full-time managerial job." I said no. So
yeah, probably a good idea.
Probably a good idea. But God, the stories out of Bob Evans. That'll be for another show. Behind the scenes. Oh my God, I could do so many stories about Bob Evans. Oh my God. Worked there 2.5 years. Saw everything.
My 3 days was way more than enough, and I'm like sealing.
Biscuits are not good enough. Corey Kitchen, good to have Corey. Get Carl Lawson from the Bengals, and we're good. I'm seeing a lot of those reports. I'm not as high on Carl Lawson as others. He is injury prone. He's had 2 ACL tears, but he's a good player. But again, he's got to stay healthy. I actually like this guy Hendrickson. I know Holly's on.
Yeah,
I love Von Miller. I'm very, very big on Von Miller. I know some people aren't, but I am. Manny Blasdale, always love a good believer in pump. Good to have you in the room, Manny. Damian, pick up Milano from the Bills. That'd be nice. We'll see. I really like Von Miller. I know some people aren't as high, but I think Von Miller not playing a year off will play very high. Van Hoy is a free agent. Imagine him at linebacker. I'm not familiar with Van Hoy. I don't know why. Maybe I should be.
He just became a free agent, I think, today.
Yeah.
He plays for do I want to say Miami?
As you look that up, I'll read Emily's comments. My friend who's a huge Cardinals fan wants Cliff gone. Thoughts? I think Cliff Kingsbury is a bizarre coach, Emily. He got fired from Texas Tech, and he went from Texas Tech to becoming the head coach of an NFL football team. So here's my advice about Cliff Kingsbury. He's very exciting. He is chic. I know he's got the looks. I know he's got the pizzazz. All that's cool. I know players like playing for him. However, I will repeat, at Texas Tech, he had a losing record and got fired and then got hired into the NFL. I think he kind of got I think he's NFL. I think he's not for long. I think he's got one more year. And what is, I'm going to put a lot of pressure on that young man. Kingsbury is a young dude. That team's got a lot of talent. They better win big.
Yeah, they definitely underperformed last year.
I thought they slid. Oh, that's right. Van Hoy's he's good. I like Gilmore. I actually like the guy from the Buccaneers, David, who Mary Kay mentioned over the weekend. I like him a lot. Won the Super Bowl with the Patriots. That's right. Van Noy, great with the Patriots. He was great. Yeah, I do remember him. But I never Van Noy. I do. I'm more interested in that guy David from the Buccaneers, and I really, you know what? If you're going to spend big money, just sign that guy Barrett from the Buccaneers, that defensive end. He's nasty good. Now he's going to be expensive. I mean, really, like $60, $70, $80 million expensive. But if you really want to go big, go big. Go big. Possible quarterback switch. Watson for Murray. Emily, I love all these Arizona questions. I'll let you take this one too, Holly. I would stick with Murray, and it's nothing against Watson or whatever else, but you got Murray in there. I don't like switching quarterbacks. I just,
that is like the new thing, but I don't know. I mean, that kind of makes that's not crazy.
It's not crazy, but I don't.
A little reuniting going on a lot of different levels in Arizona.
No, it's true. I just think Murray played well last year. He has a coach in Kingsbury they supposedly work well together. This is a big year for Murray, and I know that, but I just think I'm not as hype about Watson as other people are. I know he's good. I know he's very good. I'll be honest with you. I would take Mayfield in a street fight over Watson. I would. I like Mayfield. I really do.
Whoa.
I know. I like him.
See, look, they're both scrappy players, you know what I mean? But those are some big words there, Andy.
When you win in Pittsburgh in the playoffs, never forget.
Well, I will say again, really, I'm all over the place today. I will say that
Eat some cold Advil. It helps.
I know. He's annoyed me to no end this season with the whole charade of I'm not going to sit out. I've refused to play. It's just this whole like revolving door of crap. I'm just kind of over it and kind of over his complaining. So
I think Watson has really dug himself into a corner, and I think the Texans are going to end up trading him. I actually think, Emily, I think the bigger question is, would the Texans ever trade him for the second pick overall, and Sam Darnold to the Jets? Because I think that conversation is going to happen again. Would you trade Watson? You get Sam Darnold. You're going to get a couple extra picks, but you get the number 2 draft pick. That's a big spot. Tempting.
I mean, I think I
would too. I think that's the more and more I hear that rumor, the more and more I'm starting to believe that's the trade for Watson.
That'd be big.
That would be big. Damian, again, I would agree with that. I think the problem is he's in Arizona. He never had a winning season in college. Yeah. Are you talking about Murray? Murray he went to the playoffs. If you're talking about Kingsbury's a very average coach. I never got that higher. He's exciting. Again, he's chic. He's fun. He's got an analytics brain. All that's true. He just doesn't. At some point, don't you got to win games? I don't know.
Well, things only get you so far.
Yeah, I don't know. I think at some point you got to win. He's got a nice living room. The draft setup. Yeah,
I was going to say, that was a beautiful living room.
Look, from what I've been told, he's easy on the eyes, the ladies, but
I think he's dated some ridiculous. Or wasn't he dating what's her face from the golf from Fox Sports, Holly Saunders.
Oh, wow.
Name. I think I remember that. I think he was dating Holly Saunders there for a while.
That's a good match.
She's
beautiful.
I can see that.
Yeah. I could see that. They would become the Arizona Texans. I like that. Here's the thing. If I am Arizona, just stick with what you got. And Kingsbury, it's a big year. This is a big year for Kingsbury. Probably more likely. Not sure what they're doing in Houston, to be honest. I agree with you, Emily. Again, I think the more and more, Emily, again, Rams are going to be good too. I'm assuming Wilson stays is going to be tough out west. I could see him, if you're alluding to, Emily, I could see Watson going to LA playing for the Rams. I could see that.
Yep.
I could see that. But they just got Bradford. What am I saying?
Bradford. No, they did.
They just got Bradford. So wait, strike that from the record. Here's what I'll say though.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say, assuming that Wilson stays, I think. All right, I can't believe I'm doing this, but here's do NFL talk. I think it's crazy that Russell Wilson wants to leave Seattle. I think that is his city. That is his team. I think it's crazy he's talking about leaving. I am shocked by this.
Well, I think it's not going back to all of that player power that this whole new that they're kind of taking over and trying to run things. And I get it, it's their own careers. They make a lot of money and they do what they do. There's only a select group of humans on this planet that can do what they do. Yeah. But there's a lot of select humans that only do what they can in other professions and don't make even a fraction of what these guys make. And I know that they're putting their life on the line and to a certain extent and everything, but you are playing a game and I know it is a business, but part of that is you got to play by the rules. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with expressing how you feel, but yeah, you got to wonder. This is just now another player, another star player coming out and saying, I'm not happy and I want to leave. And it's just, sometimes you got to, as much as maybe you want to leave, but you signed a contract, you've got to fulfill your contract to a certain extent. I feel like if I wasn't happy, and I'm not an NFL player, but if I was an NFL player, I know, guns. If I was.
You do Peloton.
I do Peloton. Shout out to Jess King because I did her class tonight. Anyways, I will say that
shout out Tony Little Gazelle.
So
love you, Tony. Love you, Tony. I don't give a fuck how stupid it is. I'll do that goddamn Gazelle all day long. Anyways. Oh, it's great. It's great to do it.
Wrapping yet? Have you taken it out of have you done that yet?
It's been a rough week.
Still in the wrapping?
It's not gonna
it's still in the box, whatever it's in.
No, it's not in the box. I'll take it out for the show next week. I did. Jackson Billman.
The show next week. You should do the show from the Gazelle.
That would definitely help ratings.
It's not a bad idea. Anyway, go back. I would be having these conversations in private because when you start to open that door up to where everyone is listening and hearing, then I just feel like a team is going to probably be way more accepting and I don't know, honoring maybe of what you're looking for if those conversations are kept quiet and you just do what you need to do and that's it. I think when you start to involve the media and, well, I could go here, here, and here, and these are the 3 teams I would like to go play for, whatever Russell said. It's like, oh, okay. And look, he's established and he's, but I'm with you. I can't believe that he'd want to leave Seattle.
I'm shocked.
So, you got to wonder what the discord is out there.
I guess it's a Pete Carroll thing, but I'm shocked. That guy's Mr. Go Seahawks every time you see him.
Yeah, you know why I'm not a fan of him? Pete Carroll. He left USC like right before all that the big scandals came out at USC.
Yes, he did. It was Pete.
The whole thing was so shady when he left.
Oh, well, he knew
right away. He knew. And it's just, I never, he just ran. I don't know. I never liked about that. So
he's well, they did somewhat of a 30-30 on him. He's an interesting guy because he used to coach in the pros too. He was coaching the Jets briefly, Patriots. Then went to USC. He had a great run at SC till the very end. Once he found out the scandals were coming out, it's like, pfft. And he's been a very good pro coach. I just find it weird because I thought Seattle was always going to be around that team is hovering around Super Bowls. And they're always in the playoffs, but they're not as sniffing the Super Bowls I thought they would be. They're not as good as I thought. I mean, they're very good. They're not great. There you go. They're not great. No. I thought they'd be more great. Kevin, thanks out to the shout out to the Emmy. Don't embarrass her, but thank you. Right behind me, sticking out there. Cameron Billman loves touching it. Emily, good transition. Cavs are 4-0. Oh my gosh, Emily, are you listening to the Instagram show? Are you listening to my thoughts? I'm so proud of you, Emily. Never met you, but you are a good fan. He has been playing so much better, and they're allowing him to play point guard. And because he's the point guard, they allow Sexton to play shooting guard. And look what's happening. The Cavs are playing good basketball.
Yeah.
And my guy Drummond's not playing, and I'm not complaining.
You aren't. What is going on with that lately? Last week it was, we heard he might, that I think the Knicks were possibly interested in him, possibly Mavericks if they were, looking to add, some of their defense. So there was some, and I think there was talks about potentially trading Porzingis down there and stuff. So, but I haven't, those are the only 2 things. And that was last week that I read. So I don't know. Has there been any movement that maybe I missed this past week?
There's 2 things I think we can hammer down. Damian, 2.5 games out back from the 8th seed. I know we're almost there. But by the way, if you're a 9th or 10th seed, you get to play in the playing games. So they're not that far out. I feel like this season with them is so strange. They've hit these great highs and these awesome, great start, and then boom, we go on this 2-week road trip and just nosedive beyond. And they have another one coming. They have to go to LA, Sacramento.
And then we go this 4-0 little mini run, and it's let's reread, Sexton's article in the Players Review. We get all excited again, and then it's just kidding. You're on the road.
Dean Wade, hello. Stevens, love you. I'm so excited. It is really the no-name group. It really is Major League at times. Here's the thing about the Cavs. They're easy to root for right now. And here's where you get excited on the court. And you better start watching Instagram account, Emily. Better. I know a friend of yours. You better. Too bad Love and Answer out. Unbelievable. I think we'd be a playoff team. I think, Emily, they can be already. I will say Love to me is fascinating because I'm not missing him. Mm-hmm. I'm missing Larry Nance. I'm not missing Love.
I'm with you there. I think Nance for sure. Love, I like, I don't know. I see him stretch out. I don't know. It's just weird. He's just kind of existing. He's stretching on the sideline. He's just.
Here, I'm going to give you a picture. You're good at this. If you see the whole team in their warm-ups, and you see Kevin Love on the bench with an essential sweatshirt, and everybody else is wearing Cavaliers gear, and yet there's Kevin Love wearing a wool essential sweater. It looks weird.
Well, it doesn't even feel like he's a player of the team.
It looks weird.
He's like some advisor in a weird way that just sits at the edge and I don't know, it's just strange. It is just not even remotely close to what it was.
It is weird. Emily, you're right. He does have experience. I just want Love to feel more a part of the team. I just don't feel like he's a part of this team right now. I feel like Dellavedova is even more part of the team. He's been back. He's not playing, but he's been more of a coach. I think that's helped. I feel Delly's more part of this team, even with he's not even close to playing compared to Kevin Love. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nets need to have way more of a presence in it, and I think that those 2 weeks of just pure train wreck basketball, there could have been an opportunity, I feel, for Love to step in and kind of be that leader. And who knows, maybe he did go in that locker room and say a lot of different things, but it didn't. Nothing's really kind of come of it. And I thought at the very least, he's really good for that. He's a vet. They could talk to him. He knows he could lead these young guys when on these bad stretches. And like I've said before, he seems so disinterested in basketball.
When you wear an Essentials sweater and everybody else is wearing team gear and you're on the bench, it looks weird.
Yeah.
It just looks weird. It's just an eyesore. You can tell me it's anything else. It looks weird to me. Kevin Atkins, we don't miss Love because no one can remember him playing. Agree, Kevin? I don't think you're. I know you're joking. I think you're actually somewhat serious too. I think you're right. It is getting to that point. It's like, when has he played? Like,
when is the last game he played? Do we know?
Yes, at home, way back in December. I think it's 27th. They played in the road game against Detroit, and then they played at home. Yeah, he's not played in 2021.
Yeah,
it's been a long time. Here's the last thing, too. Here's what's exciting before I get to Kevin's comment about Drummond. What was great, though, too, was the Cavs beating the Sixers on Saturday night was a legit win. Mm-hmm. Embiid played his ass off. They won that game. Green was shooting threes. They wanted that win. The Cavs won that game. That was an A effort, and the Cavs took their best shot and won the game. Mm-hmm. Won the game. Yep. That's why it's for real. That's why people want to talk about it. They aren't going to do big things. They're not going to cut the Nets down. Kevin always laughs at. But they are improving. This is not typical El Tanko. Nothing's going to happen good for the Cavs.
Well, no, I didn't think even after that terrible stretch that they were going to just completely bite the dust and be done for the rest of the season. I think, though, that was a pretty large wake-up call. I think we have now seen, I think we got teased. Had they not started off as strong as they did, we probably wouldn't have been as disappointed or shocked that they took that big of a nosedive. But I think because we've seen potential, because we see how well they play, and that they can win those big games when it matters, then, we were pretty pissed. Because no, wait a second. Now we know we actually have an opportunity here to really build on something even better, and you're not, capitalizing on it.
That's right. Is someone going to give us a big bag of practice balls for Drummond? I don't think we're there, but I think they're going to have to be very patient. And what I would say, Kevin, is this. The Knicks are a good example. They're 18 and 17. They're actually on their way to probably make the playoffs somewhere, right? They could use a center. If you get desperate, you get an injury or two, which happens in the NBA.
Absolutely.
You can ship them off pretty quickly.
Maybe that's what they're waiting for. I don't know. That's sad. The Cavs are waiting for someone to get hurt just to ship them.
But hey, that's how it works in sports. There's no reason to make a trade until the last second, in my opinion.
But
Hold on.
Andy, why are they not playing him? And I know that it's
I don't know. By the way, that's a different.
That just
By the way, Holly, that's a totally different discussion, and I don't agree with at all. I don't know. They did that to help out Andre Drummond. That does not help the Cavs. They said that in their comments. That drives me crazy.
So comfortable. I mean, I don't know. Look, I know that there was games he was checking out or what have you here and there, but I just don't. How could he not want to still be playing? Because to be missing all these games right now, how is that boding well for you as a player in your own marketing of yourself? I just don't. That doesn't make any sense to me. And I know that Andre Drummond's been kind of known to just be very self-serving, but so I guess it's not as much of a shocker, but I just think that's so strange.
Kevin Atkins doesn't want to get hurt, and you're right. But Kevin, here's the thing that Holly's getting to: the Cavs don't have anybody healthy. They're playing well, but
it's not like
Kevin, if the Cavs were healthy, I would get it. It's like you can sit Drummond. The Cavs aren't healthy. That's what's amazing about this winning streak. Chetty Osman's been missing games. By the way, that's another player who don't really miss playing. Just want to say that quietly. Mm-hmm. I'm not a big Chetty Osman fan. Prince, you do miss. You miss Nance. You don't have Kevin Love. You don't have Drummond. You don't have Delly. That's a starting lineup. None of those guys are playing. So that, like Kevin, you're right. In this case, though, the Cavs are really banged up. You could use some of these players like Drummond on the floor to help. The G League group, I like them. Ward, Stevens. You do need to get like a roster out if you don't watch the Cavs when you watch a play. Dean Wade is a story building, though. And Lamar Stevens I like Stevens a lot. Stevens plays hard and makes big plays in big spots. I like Dean Wade, too. I like Dean Wade a lot. Damian, again, I'm sorry, but Kevin Porter Jr. is tearing it up in the G League, leading scorer. Here's the thing. You just said it, and you're right. G League.
Yeah, I don't miss that. Again, that's Andy, side note, that's putting sports above personnel. And as we've learned today, you can't put sports above something like that. You can't do it.
He was across the board making everyone miserable. And he's playing for the Rockets in the G League. Time will tell, but just saying. It's not, if he could play, I just watched the Rockets play. They stink. If they thought Kevin Porter could play, he'd be playing right now. I like Bickerstaff. I do too, Emily. I like him. He's actually proven a lot. He's gutted out these last couple weeks where easily some teams would have checked out. Don't want to get him hurt. We talked about that already. Speaking about not getting hurt. Those are Cavs. They have one more game. Then they're off for 9 days. Sayonara. See ya. March 12th. Back. And like I said, they kick off with a very hard schedule. Then they go on a long road trip very early on. But Pacers at home. Then they're off forever. That'd be a great time to talk about the great debate between Rosario or Jimenez at shortstop, which Holly loves. Your favorite outfielder who's not playing, Mercado, Jake Bowers.
I love them all.
What will happen? J.J. Watt will play for the Browns 2.3.
Oh, God.
All that stuff and more. Speaking of that, we'll end it on television. Because I was shocked by this, and I totally forgot. Golden Globes, to me, is more entertaining to watch than the Oscars. That's me.
Yeah. Nope.
I love the Golden Globes. Oscars, I will admit, I don't watch it either.
Well, I like the mix. I like the mix of TV and film. And I loved the concept when we could, sitting around a table and that kind of conversation type. I loved that. So Golden Globes have always been my favorite too.
Tom Hanks will give a great speech last year. I just love the Golden Globes. I love the feel of it. It feels like people are letting loose. This year, too, was kind of entertaining. I love Schitt's Creek, so I was glad to see all my shows cleaned up. The Crown, Schitt's Creek. It was the Andy Billman Awards. I mean, it was like, oh, my God, these are all the shows I watch. Yay, I'm hip and trendy.
Yeah, the one show, that I didn't care for that won is, and I like Kaylee Kuko. Was that how you say her last name?
Kukolo, I think, or
whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
I didn't watch The Bang Theory, but I know that she was great in that. But she got nominated and won for The Flight Attendant.
Wow.
It was awful. I didn't even finish it. My brother and I would text about it, and he's like, I'm going to start The Flight Attendant. And he's like, I said, well, I'm about to start it. And then he's like, it ain't that good. And then I started, and I'm like, it's definitely not that good. And I didn't even finish it. Like, it was weird. I think she's a great actress. And she won for her role. I was really surprised by that, though, because I just thought that show was a nosedive. And there were some other shows on there that were, I think, way better.
Emily Court's not. I think she's. Oh yes, to Catherine O'Hara. That's right.
I thought
Catherine O'Hara won. Schitt's Creek.
Oh, Catherine O'Hara. Oh.
For Schitt's Creek.
Oh,
I love that show.
Kaylee Kuko won.
I'm rewatching that show, by the way. Love that show. It was not a good show, The Flight Attendant. I've not watched it. I just watched a new show on Netflix on the Mafia. How the FBI did their big.
Sorry. She definitely lost. I thought she won. Well, there was pictures of her like hanging. I don't know. She got nominated. My bad. Sorry. Thanks, Emily, for fact checking my ass.
Yes, the flight attendant. That sucks. I guess I won't watch that. I like the Netflix did one on how they broke down the mob in the 80s. I thought it was very good. It's too FBI-ish at times, but that was their theme behind it, and I knew that, so I accepted it. But I thought that whole was interesting, the whole sting behind breaking the mob in the 80s. I thought that was very good. I just saw it recently on Netflix. I forget the title of it, but it was good. Now I'm watching, I'm rewatching Schitt's Creek because I forget some of the parts. And now that it won, I want to rewatch it again. So I'm reliving Schitt's Creek.
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, it's great. Oh, it's great.
I need to start that. I just started that Dylan Farrow documentary on HBO last night.
Oh, I need to watch. There's two things now I want to watch. One, I want to watch the Tiger Woods documentary. What happened with him, and I actually know one of the producers on that film, so I need to watch that. And I really want to watch the Woody Allen thing bad.
That's the one. Sorry, yes. What I say, Dylan? Yeah, right. Dylan Farrow's the.
No, I think you're right. I just want to. Yeah.
Woody Allen and Mia Farrow. Yeah.
Yes, I really want to watch that.
No, I started that last night. I watched the first episode, so it's.
What do you think?
It's very good. It's very sad.
I heard it's very intense. Yeah.
It's very intense.
Very, very intense.
I did watch. This is totally out there too. I just finished. I binged it quick. It's my life these days. Am I kidding? It's been my life always. But I binge watched. Tell Me Your Secrets on Prime, and it has. Gosh, I can't remember the actress name, but basically it's about this woman whose boyfriend is arrested and charged. He's a serial killer, and she is then put into witness protection.
Ooh!
It goes through her whole experience and what happens after that, and was she involved? Was she helping him or not? That's the whole thing, and
that's interesting.
It's really good. It's very good.
What's it called again?
Tell Me Your Secrets.
Tell Me Your Secrets.
And they set up season 2 really good. So there's definitely got to be season 2. So I recommend that to everybody.
The Golden Globes did not rate.
Yes.
Did not rate at all. So here's my whole big point to end the show. It is across the board. When you don't go to Super Bowl, you don't get as much PR. When you don't have actors and actresses sitting around tables, you don't get as much PR. The pandemic is not just affecting sports. That I thought was a big test. Because I was not surprised. Learning what I learned about audience watching, I'm like, yeah, it should be down. Because that is what's been going on with television watching.
And they didn't have a good lead-in at all like they would normally in January. There's usually a lot of cross-promotion going on. I didn't see any real promotion for it. I didn't even realize. I follow on Instagram a lot of the red carpet accounts because I love that shit. But I'm reading through that and I'm like, oh my God, the Golden Globes are tonight? Had no idea. And I did turn on for a little bit and it was really weird. People sitting in their living rooms in these gorgeous gowns. It was really strange. It just didn't. And I ended up turning it off. And I'm like, I'll read about who won later. Apparently I didn't read who won because I messed that up. But you get my point. So
my point is to end the show. The Golden Globes is across the board. You need, it's good that we're all going back to normal because even the Golden Globes, there's no buzz. You gotta have people in these things. You can only do so much virtual. I know a lot of people did not care for it. I wasn't surprised by that. So look, it's been a full show.
Maybe they should have held it in Texas. Texas is open for business across the board.
I don't want.
I know. Anyway,
just be safe. I know there's a lot of people excited. Just
be safe.
Just be safe, please. Please. Someone's got a sinus infection. Just be safe.
Good point.
Please, be safe, please. Good. By the way, sinus infections are not contagious. Learned that a lot this week. So that is the good thing about that. We learned a lot here today.
We did.
It's one of our more serious shows, but it's an important show. Thanks to Emily Courts, associate producer today. Kevin Atkins, Damian. What else we got here? Manny Blasdale. Good to have you back, Manny. Corey. Joe, Matt at the top of the show. Thank you, everybody, for being involved. Hopefully next week, they'll probably, we'll have to see if there's anything new with the Indian stuff. Browns, I guarantee there'll be some Brown stuff coming around the corner. It's just too long of a break. Like I said, the Cavs play tonight, then they're donezo for a while. So maybe we'll do a recap of the Cavs. Maybe soon we'll bring Mindy Bell on. It's a good time to have her on. Talk a little Indians.
Yep.
On and off. And then finally the Browns.
We'll have a lot more updates, I'm sure, by then.
Yes. Last thing, and then I'm done. Are you a March Madness fan? I love college basketball, March Madness. Are you a March Madness girl?
I do like March Madness. I don't care a ton for college basketball, I'll be completely honest. Just doesn't do it for me. So, but college sports in general doesn't really do it for me. I like professional sports. That's what I'd rather watch anyways. But I love doing a bracket and I love getting into it. I mean, I'll pick a favorite and just kind of roll with it. You know what I mean? Usually. So
we are 2 weeks away. And for people who don't know, I love the tournament. I love gambling on the tournament. I love talking tournament. I love doing silly little polls, silly little pools. I love all that fucking shit.
We should do a bracket for Set the Edge, Andy.
Oh, my preview is in 2 weeks. Next week is conference week. And the following week is brackets. We will have all sorts of games, and I will try to get on Howie Schwab. He used to be Dick Vitale's longtime handler. Did Fox Sports forever. Did Stump the Schwab television show. He's great at this stuff. I've been texting him a little bit lately. It'd be great to have someone like that come on, talk about this stuff. Mm-hmm. So that stuff to preview down the road. I love the brackets. Love the brackets. As I love Set the Edge. But it's time to go. My cold medicine's wearing off. I must take another dose. To all your Gazelle fans out there, I love you. To Peloton, don't need you.
It's all right. Come on over.
Until next week for Set the Edge, I guess we should talk about this live. Are we doing Thursdays again? Thursdays? After Thursdays next week?
Yeah, I know. Thanks for hanging out while we try to work or go in once a week.
Tricky week. We'll be back to normal soon, though. Come back Thursday.
We need to start planning what day we're going to do it the following week before we talk about it on here. Hey, you want to do the show on Thursday? What do you got going on? You got to possibly.
Oh, yeah. By the way, we can do the show live in person in Cleveland in a couple weeks too.
That's right. Andy will be hanging in the CLE.
Getting my new Von Miller jersey. Right. Good night, everybody. Go Browns, go Cavs, Indian. Yes, even in bad times, go Indians. Take care. Have a good night.